Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, more mystery drone goodness or madness. We've got mystery drones over Plant 42. This is from Liberation Times. Newly obtained USAF reports expose drone breaches at Plant 42, home to B-21 Raider and other top secret programs. Newly obtained documentation from the Air Force acquired by Liberation Times reveals 7 recorded instances of drone incursions over Plant 42 in Palmdale Regional Airport in California between the 2nd and the 9th of August. The documentation shows official Air Force reports describing rotary wing drones with blinking lights and camera systems repeatedly hovering over sensitive areas. Yeah, all of these big blinking lights decked out like Christmas trees. Very, very covert if they're espionage drones. Prompted patrol responses, off-base pursuit attempts in coordination with the FAA, with assessments suggesting the drones operated beyond typical hobbyist capabilities. It sounds very much like the incursion over the German base I talked about yesterday. The reports refer to the object seen as UXS, meaning Unmanned X Systems, a broad military designation for unmanned aerial, ground, or maritime systems. Base personnel reported that the objects had camera systems, suggesting potential foreign surveillance activities over one of the U.S.'s most sensitive installations, home to top secret facilities operated by Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. A concern backed up by command reports which state the incursions reflected potential surveillance/espionage. And that is really intriguing that these things may have had camera systems, visible cameras surveilling them. Now, surely if China or Russia was responsible for the mystery drone incursions that has been going on for months or years, somebody would have cottoned on to that, right? We would know that we have, a foreign adversary surveilling our bases, and surely they would have done something about it by now. I don't believe this for a moment. I'm wondering if this is deliberate disinformation, this talk about cameras and surveilling. Not to say that whatever's doing it isn't surveilling, but the idea that it could be foreign espionage. I mean, if it is foreign espionage, so be it, but what a huge lapse of national defenses. How could this have happened? It is shocking and horrifying, and also it's worldwide. How does that make any sense? It's weird. It's nonsensical. I don't get it. But that's what they're reporting, so we can only go with what they're reporting. The incursions prompted patrol responses and disruptions to flight line operations, according to reporting. Alarmingly, throughout all 7 nights of drone activity, no countermeasures were operational, leaving the objects completely unchallenged. And you have to wonder, if they had employed countermeasures, would they have had any success, since we've seen they haven't had much success in past attempts. Now, could this be, spy drones taking advantage of the confusion of the mystery drone situation and sending up their own stuff? These guys are bogged down with crazy mystery drones. Why not spy on them when we have the chance, when they don't know what's going on? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? The commander reports currently there is no authorized detection or defeat capability available to the Defense Force. That contradicts reporting from Breaking Defense in 2022, when officials acknowledged that the facility had a geofence that knocks out small drones that users attempt to fly overhead. So yeah, what is it? Can they knock these things down or not? It's such a weird situation, and here Ross Coulthard is reminding us that the military has at least one of these drones, if not more. Ross Coulthard says, is it correct, as Representative Chris Smith appears to assert here, that one of these purported drones went down at Langley Air Force Base? If it was FAA authorized research, as the White House is claiming, why hasn't the public been told about this recovery? Good question, Ross. Would they want us to know, if, just playing devil's advocate, if it was a Chinese or Russian drone, if it was a foreign adversary? Maybe they don't want to alarm us by letting us know that foreign adversaries can just run riot over the whole country and shut airports down and so on. So maybe they would keep a lid on it for that reason. But I don't quite buy that. And I don't know if Ross does either. But they do keep a lid on UFO stuff. So, yeah, so let me know what you think about that. Now, if we're dealing with foreign adversaries that have a global, worldwide, crazy drone phenomenon going on, and by the way, they shut down airports in China as well. So is that what we're dealing with, or is it something more anomalous? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, some are saying that drones are originating from the ocean and may even be coming out of the ocean, which is really intriguing. This may or may not be one of them. From Exiled Earthling, Encinitas, California, January 2025. A webcam allegedly captures what appears to be a glowing orb ascending out of the ocean. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, you can see, all you can see is this blinking light. And then that. And then it blinks again. Very anomalous, very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't see that being conventional technology at all. Yeah, then it solidifies into this more orb thing. Yeah, but at first it's just a blinking light, then something ascends, leaving a smeary trail behind it, which we've seen before in various UFO videos. They've captured similar orb phenomenon with smeary trails at Skinwalker Ranch. Very interesting. And it's interesting that more smaller paranormal type orbs like at Skinwalker Ranch can leave that smeary trail, and so can larger, more UFO type orbs. Really intriguing. So is that an orb that will become a mystery drone? Because we've seen multiple of those videos of orbs becoming drones. Of course, some are saying that that's just a drone far in the distance, and the camera is interpreting it as an orb, and as it gets closer to the camera, it resolves into its real shape, which is a drone. However, I've had people comment on the channel saying they've seen this phenomenon with their own eyes. These orbs transforming into drones. So I don't know what the truth is there, but you have to wonder, is this an object coming out of the water that will become a mystery drone? Of course, Chris Bledsoe is reminding us that there's a difference between drones and orbs.
When things like this are happening, it seems
sharing these two side-by-side videos, one shown on the news, and I don't know if that's the Jesus orb, and this is one of Chris Bledsoe's orbs, which look very similar, not exact, but very similar. And, but is there a difference between orbs and drones? If one turns into the other? I don't know, guys. It's crazy stuff out there, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And what the heck are these things? In this really interesting interview with Shane Frakes, who is a really intriguing guy, Air Force guy, claims to have had these abilities all his life and have been groomed by the control group with these abilities, psychic abilities, remote viewing, and so on. And he has had a lifetime of contact and of exploring, psychic abilities and so on. Well, he gives his insight into what UFOs are.
Are we talking about extraterrestrial biological entities? Are we talking about cryptoterrestrials? Are we talking about ultra-terrestrials? Are we talking about angels and demons? What are we talking about?
All the above, man. But I think interdimensional, and I think that it shows up the way we need to see it, and the way, so like it could be angels, demons, fairies. I think it's constantly just reinventing itself. Like now it's technology for us in this age, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's here. People don't like the way I feel about this. It's just personal. It's here one of them, or something's here to elevate humanity, to show us consciousness is the way.
Yeah.
And by, gifting us with some technology and things along those lines. There's probably multiple things here. But yeah, I like to think that something is here trying to say, hey, push us a little bit to where they're at, because until we get there, we can't graduate from these meat suits. That's the only way to progress forward.
I love it. I think that's brilliant. That's what Jacques Vallée has talked about a lot, is how the phenomenon seems to have evolved over time to reflect our own beliefs. Something I and many others have talked about. In the 1800s, they were having the airship wave because they could relate to airships, hot air balloons and that sort of thing. And now we get, tin cans and stuff because we can relate to more higher end technology. Now, what will they relate to in 100 or 200 years, I wonder? I'd love to be there to find out. Meanwhile, I've talked about James Hodgkins before. I've shared a clip of him talking about his own understanding of these objects because he is a psionic asset, somebody that works with Skywatcher and Jake Barber, and also Gary Nolan. The downloads that he was receiving from these beings suggested that these egg objects, these egg UFOs, were coming from another dimension, something that he was told, related, or we would understand it as the afterlife, which is really intriguing. And I've talked a lot about this before, the other dimensional aspect of UFOs. But it's not just him saying this. He's not just pulling this out of his hat. He actually worked with Gary Nolan to authenticate these downloads. Let's give a listen to what he says here, his work with Gary Nolan.
Curious about how the download process would work. Is that something that we can actually do and document with Gary's scientific background? I'm a liberal arts guy. I don't really have any scientific background, nor do I have a great deal of interest in it. And so to start, Gary wanted to give me a test question. And the question he gave me, and it's funny the way he phrased it, is I'm going to ask you something I know a great deal about and you know nothing about. And he asked me to explain how an exotic vacuum object works. And so over the course of, probably 10 to 15 minutes, I was able to draw out a schematic of what an exotic vacuum object is and how it functions best we can understand. And I show this to Gary, and he turns around his computer and shows an image of a schematic that looked, very similar, convincing enough for him that there was something to this.
Yeah, so there's something to this. James is apparently getting downloads from the phenomenon. And one of those downloads was that these craft were coming and are coming from other dimensions. Even Anna Polina Luna is talking about this stuff.
Well, I wouldn't call them aliens. I really like what Grush calls it. He says that they're interdimensional beings, and he's very specific about that.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so that seems to be is the vogue now. They're other dimensional beings, and I love it. I love that more and more people are glomming onto the fact that these are not necessarily all nuts and bolts vehicles. Although interestingly, they can be studied and reverse engineered, but sometimes they can't. From Merrick von Rennenkamp, the egg UAP at Area 51. Arrow witness alleges secondhand under penalty of perjury that CIA brought an egg-shaped craft to Area 51 in the 1980s. Highly cleared EG&G engineers could not gain access and concluded it was sent here from another planet. Very intriguing. Yeah, EG&G is interesting, and their role in all of this is interesting. Let's see. Yeah, they managed Area 51 for a time. Witness 25495 stated he had a conversation with his great uncle. And gives the date and the time while they were sitting alone on the back porch in Las Vegas. Person X held a top secret security clearance with multiple program accesses and was employed with identified U.S. companies, EG&G, then JT3, then finally JT4, at Area 51 from 97 to 2014 as a data configuration specialist and head of security for his engineering group. Talking about the object itself, the object was described as egg-shaped, about the size of a sport utility vehicle, and silverish gray in color. Additionally, the object was smooth and seamless, had no visible control surfaces, no visible means of propulsion, and no writing or symbols of any kind. The senior engineer stated that the object could not be disassembled or cut open with any of the tools available at Area 51, and X-rays could not penetrate the object. The senior engineer said that for several years, his engineering group attempted to activate the object and determine a power source without success. After exhausting all attempts and possibilities, the engineers finally concluded that the object was a probe craft sent here from another planet in the universe and was far more advanced than our current or most advanced technology. I assume that's how that ends. So there you go. Sometimes they can't be reverse engineered. Meanwhile, check out this amazing UFO video over Milan, Italy. Check this out. I got music there, but yeah, check it out. What the hell is this thing? Can this be explained by mundane reasons? Are these balloons or something like that? It doesn't look balloonish to me. And yeah, look how high it is, way above that plane. And it just keeps on shifting and morphing. Are we looking at an other dimensional craft? Are we looking at more of a 3D craft that has some sort of cloaking device or technology that, you know, is giving this effect? Can this be explained by some other, some mundane explanation? This is just a fascinating video. Yeah, so let me know what you think this thing is. I mean, you can almost see an outline of a plane there with two wings and a fuselage, but it keeps on shifting. Look at this. Yeah, this is such a wild video. It's 8.5 minutes long, and it just keeps on shifting and doing weird things. It doesn't look like balloons. I don't know what this is. It's not a cloud. It's not a balloon. I don't think. So, but that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think this crazy, I'm going to call it a UFO, what this crazy UFO is over Italy. Meanwhile, somebody commented on the channel the other day that they wouldn't believe in the Nazca mummies because Reuters and, Politico and the mainstream news media weren't reporting on the Nazca mummies. Well, guess what? Doge investigations reveal mysterious Defense Department payments to Reuters for large-scale social deception project between 2018 and 2022. And are they still getting money? It wouldn't surprise me. Either way, we know of at least $9 million that went to Reuters and maybe more. Politico was also getting money, and God knows who else. So, I'm sure a lot of that was, political, but surely it's not a stretch to think that some of that was used for UFO and, of course, Nazca mummy disinformation. Or in this case, lack of information. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt or becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I will see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.